KD is not a typical all NBA defensive caliber guy to me. I'm never gonna campaign for KD to make one of the 2 defensive teams, not with the talent of defensive guys in the league right now. But amongst anyone who is legitimately all-star caliber, especially offensively all-star caliber player, not someone who making all-star teams like Rudy Gobert strictly off defense, but like amongst any offensively inclined players, Kevin Durant is one of the better defenders amongst those guys. I think the impact of Kevin Durant is understated, and I think it has been for a very long time.
On defense too, though.
Yeah, as a player, not just by people up here, not just by social media, mainstream media, everywhere. I've never seen someone go to so many situations, be as adaptable as he's been, change situations for the better for the large part. Phoenix is the one situation where you could say it didn't get better, but Brooklyn were undoubtedly better with him. OKC undoubtedly, obviously better with him. Golden State became the best team ever with him. Houston, once again, this is a team that we all maligned their offense. Oh, Houston, they can't score, blah, 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 everything. The reason they can't win is they can't score. They now have a top 3 offense in the NBA, and their only notable acquisition was Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant being able, and this is a team, Houston, which most people will say has some of the worst spacing of any legitimate contenders, probably them and the Pistons. Kevin Durant has managed to be 50, 40, 90 on a team that has some of the worst spacing in the NBA. Kevin Durant is averaging 26 points per game on one of the worst spaced teams in the NBA. If you look over the last 17 games Kevin Durant has played, he's averaging 26.5 points on 55, 43, 91 splits. Houston are one of the best teams in the NBA. Defensively, we're approaching a decade where Kevin Durant has not only been an above average defender, he has been borderline elite on defense. And for whatever reason,
man, come on now.
My theory is the reason why no one wants to acknowledge that Kevin Durant is borderline elite on defense is because they don't know what to do with someone who is one of the 3 best scorers to ever exist and is also an elite defender. They don't want to put him in the categories that he belongs to be in because they understand if you call him just a scorer, we can minimize his impact in other areas. But if we acknowledge that he's one of the 3 best scorers to ever exist and he's also a borderline elite defender, how is that guy not better than X all-time player? Because that's the reality of the situation when it comes to Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is 37 years old and is undoubtedly one of the 10 best players on the planet. He has undoubtedly been one of the 10 best players on the planet for over 15 years. Kevin Durant became a top 5 player in year 3. Kevin Durant is now 37 years old and still top 10. That level of longevity amongst 2 career-altering injuries is never heard of. We can praise LeBron James' longevity. I'm not comparing him to LeBron. LeBron's longevity is number 1. But no one has had 2 career-altering injuries and been this good for this long. No one. You can't show me one player who has had a torn Achilles, a broken foot, come back from both of those injuries, still been elite, and is 37 years old and still elite. No one has ever done that. But yet, when it's Kevin Durant, it gets minimized. He's never won without the Warriors. Cool, we can have all of our opinions on his legacy. How good he is at basketball can't be understated. I saw the MVP ladder. Was it last week or the week before? No disrespect to Alperen Şengün, but there is no reason why the MVP ladder should have Alperen Şengün as the Houston Rockets representative and not Kevin Durant. There's no reason for that.
Not at all.
I think that because of the narrative that he a bucket getter, Moss. That's what it is. It's because of his ability to score the basketball at the rate that he scores the basketball, even still today. That all that other stuff that you just highlighted, that stuff gets thrown by the wayside, and that's not what is the topic of conversation. What the topic of conversation is that Kevin Durant is a bucket getter. Kevin Durant has always been a bucket getter. Kevin Durant is the best bucket getter, arguably, in NBA history. Nobody cares about the fact that Kevin Durant actually does play defense. Nobody cares about the fact that Kevin Durant's impact on offense, overall on offense, impacts every team, not just because he's a bucket getter. Now, I'm one of those people who thinks that Kevin Durant is a bucket getter, but I also know that he does do other things. Where the divide comes with me is when he gets put in conversations where he doesn't belong in terms of a defender. That doesn't mean that he hasn't been an awesome defender. I won't argue that point at all because I do think that he's been an awesome defender. But when you have a guy who has been this much of a bucket getter, I think that playing on teams like the Golden State Warriors, playing on this Houston team, I think that it covers up, even though it should enhance who he is as a defender, but I think it covers up the fact that he is a really good defender. and people stop looking at him as a defender, and they just look at him more as an awesome offensive player. When he was with the Warriors, people never talked about him as a defensive player. Why? Because the Warriors had the best offense in NBA history. And the reason why people don't talk about him as a defender in Houston, because Houston had the best defense in the league last year. So Kevin Durant isn't really adding to that, even though he is adding to that. People don't want to talk about that. They talk about the fact that he's a bucket getter, and the fact that he's a bucket getter, he's enhancing their offense. But I think Kevin Durant has been great for this team this season.
Yes, but chill. I keep saying it, and Mars probably disagree with me, and I know a lot of people disagree with me. I think Kevin Durant is the best defender on this team. I know y'all like Amin Thompson. I'm serious. I think Kevin Durant is the best defender on this team. Like, I watch him sit down and shut the door on people. Like, I watch him protect the rim. Like, isolation at the end of the game. If you ask me who would I prefer guarding the best player, Amin or KD, give me KD. I want KD guarding the best player. Like, I know what I'm watching, and I think it's to Mars' point about how people just don't want to acknowledge like how good of a defender he is, because then at that point it would be unanimous why he's better than X player, whichever player Mars was talking about. I don't know. I think it was Stephen Curry, but
it was just a bunch of guys.
Okay, a bunch of them.
Top 10 range. That's
but my thing is, I'm watching KD on defense. Like, I'm watching him. Like, I see him sit down and just shut the door on a lot of people. Like, even like maybe in the first half, like you'll see somebody go against KD and they have a bad first half, and nobody mentions like KD was just locking that shit up. Don't nobody say nothing. But if Amin Thompson get a crazy block, oh my God, he's incredible on defense. And I'm like, he is. But watch KD.
KD's been their best rim protector this season too.
He was the best rim protector in Brooklyn too.
And he was their best rim protector in Phoenix too. KD's been the best defender on all of his teams for the last 5 or 6 years. Since he left Golden State, KD's been the best defender on all of his teams.
Yeah, but when I said it last,
Houston, I think Amin's better. I think Amin's better than KD. I'm just putting out. So
that's cool.
I think Amin's better than KD, but I think KD is Houston's second best defender. So this year, notwithstanding, my fault.
What's the gap between him and Tari?
Hey, Mars, wait till we get to the playoffs.
I think Tari is great. I think Tari is
37 years
the issue with Tari is his aggressiveness is a double-edged sword. Sometimes he can really like stifle matchups with his aggressiveness. Other times you find him shooting gaps on screens and he's giving up wide open threes, fouling shooters, way too handsy. So it's like a great Tari Eason defensive game.
Yep.
He looks like the best defender on the Rockets. But a Tari Eason bad defensive game, he's actually hurting your defense. Whereas I think KD is more steady.
We talk a lot about floor raising and ceiling raising in terms of offense. I don't think we talk about it enough on defense. Is Kevin Durant like a great ceiling raiser defensively? Maybe not the greatest floor raiser defensively, but like a great ceiling raiser defensively. Is that a fair way?
Prime example would be the Golden State Warriors in 16-17. I mean, they were already awesome as a defense. I mean, I think he made them better.
Give a nigga a defensive coach and give him a whole bunch of point of attack defenders. And a 7-foot nigga can step in and block a couple shots. All right.
Now he be sitting down. Nigga was shooting 3 for 10 on him last night, Ron.
Like the difference is like
typically when you're a help defender, you're not a typical anchor big like a peak Brook Lopez or whatever. Your defensive skill set is going to be more additive to better teams as opposed to like Jaren Jackson would help great defenses more than he can anchor a great one himself. Because
like if he was in Houston, he'd be much better.
Based on KD's skill set defensively, the versatility alongside like the help side rim protection, that makes him more valuable when you have good POA defenders, a good drop big, whatever the case may be. Whereas if you're asking him to be your best defender, he has to switch 1 through 5. He has to anchor your defense like they were asking him to do in Phoenix with no good defenders. Yeah, he's going to still be good on defense, but the team is just not going to get to the heights that are Rudy Gobert.
How many years you think Kevin Durant played at an all-league defensive level?
Well, I think all defense is a higher bar than probably KD's really ever been at. I think you got a couple years where you could make the roundabout argument.
Yeah, this is what I mean.
He's still amongst superstars, amongst like the upper echelon of the league. He's been all defense amongst the all NBA players. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. Yes, because not all.
So he's not all defense relative to the league. Like he's not going to provide Asar Thompson level.
That's not his only job. That's not his only job.
Yeah, so like he's not going to provide Asar Thompson level defensive impact. So I'm not going to say get KD on the all defensive team. But amongst the elite players in the NBA, he's all defensive caliber amongst those guys. If that makes
Mars,
sense.
Because a lot of them don't play defense.
Over the years, has KD been a better defender than LeBron?
I said he's been better defensively than Ant this year, and apparently I was wrong.
So I'll run down. So really quickly, I'm gonna run down some names.
That's my thing.
So last year's first team All-Pro, Joker, Giannis, Jason Tatum, Shea, Donovan Mitchell. Where does he rank amongst those guys defensively?
Second, he's behind Jason Tatum for defense. No, Giannis. I forgot about Giannis, but
he's in the top. He's definitely better than Jokic. He's definitely better than Jokic and Shea. I would say Jason Tatum's better, and I would say Giannis still has the highest ceiling. So I would say probably Jason Tatum and Giannis are better.
And then if you go to the second team, Mobley, James, Curry, and Jalen Brunson.
Only Mobley's better.
Anthony Edwards.
Only Mobley is better.
Oh no.
And then that third team of Cat, Jalen, Cade, Tyrese, Harden.
Not even close.
J-Dub's better. J-Dub's better on defense.
You said Jalen. I think you're talking about Jalen Brunson.
J-Dub. So he's he'd be fifth of those guys.
That's what I was thinking of these 15 guys: Mobley, Giannis, Tatum, Dub. That's it. I mean, I think Donovan Mitchell plays defense, but I'm not going to say that Donovan Mitchell plays defense.
Why do you think he plays defense?
He doesn't play defense better than Kevin Durant. I said we don't need to. Kevin, amongst last year's All NBA team, I'd have him fifth. Yeah,
I don't think he plays defense better than Kevin Durant. No, I don't think that. But with that being said, I just think it goes back to when you're talking about a guy as good as Kevin Durant is offensively, it's not feasible to think that he could be a good defender. Because if he's not Giannis good as a defender, if he's not James good as a defender, if he's not Mobley good as a defender, then that means that he's not a good defender. When in reality, I mean, I've always thought that KD was a good defender. My issue has always been when we're talking about him as a defender and as an overall player, like he wasn't in those conversations with James and Giannis. Like he wasn't that good as a defender ever. Never was he that good as a defender, but people wanted to talk about him like Leonard. Like he was never that good. But I always thought that he was a good team defender. I always thought that he was a real good rim protector. I always thought that he could give you positive, not just positive effort, but I also thought that it was a positive outcome if he was on the weak side of the floor or if he was on a guy for a stretch. I think that he could help your defense in that way. But I never thought that he was in those conversations. And I think that's where the divide with me and Kevin Durant came in.
And KD's not better than Tari, by the way, too.
That's fine. I wouldn't argue.
That is so far-fetched.
I wouldn't argue with you because I think Tari.
Kevin Durant better than Cody Martin defensively.
Cody, the one who's in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Yes.
He better than Caleb too.
Now we can have a conversation about Caleb because I think Caleb was a really good defender. We can have a conversation.
Well, I think Cody was cool on defense too, but I think KD. The easy cop out is based on minutes played. I would just say KD provides more defensive impact over the course of a game.
Sure,
but I think
about what other defenders he had on that team in Phoenix. I was thinking about Ryan Dunn. I was thinking about Cody Martin. I was thinking about like slim pickings.
They were using Royce O'Neal as a POA. Like that team, Phoenix weren't serious on defense. But yeah, just looking at like. KD is not a typical All-NBA defensive caliber guy to me. I'm never going to campaign for KD to make one of the two defensive teams, not with the talent of defensive guys in the league right now. But amongst anyone who is legitimately all-star caliber, especially an offensively all-star caliber player, not someone who making all-star teams like Rudy Gobert strictly off defense, but like amongst any offensively inclined players, Kevin Durant is one of the better defenders amongst those guys.
It's the panel. Religion get built on cam. Where the check throw smoke and the host go ham. You ain't never seen hoops out hit the raw. Every take got weight, every night we drop. This that barbershop. Courtside, worldwide tone. Welcome to the only show that really feel like numbers jumping like the score.